Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to the Hooley House here in Westlake, Ohio, for another edition of Varsity Chalk Talk here on the podcast on SoundCloud.com. We are here, like I said, in Westlake at 24940 Sperry Drive. Hooley House Sports Pub and Grill, OneFunPub.com is the website, and you can join us each and every Monday night for the live show here in Westlake. We've also got a couple of other shows throughout the week over in Mentor right now at the Hooley House on Reynolds Road. Billy Tilton is there with the East Side folks talking a little high school football. My name is David Ramnarine. Welcome in. Joining me today, as usual, is Andy Jardy, our correspondent here, our expert.
Oh, let's not get carried away.
When it comes to high school football, he is all over the state of Ohio. Andy, week one is in the books.
That's crazy.
It is
right?
crazy.
That's crazy to say out loud that week one is came and went.
Boy, it was. There were some fireworks on in week one. I mean, pretty much what we expected as far as the teams. Although, you know what? Wait a minute.
Okay.
If we look at high school football in the state of Ohio, across the landscape of high school football, Ignatius and St. Ed's losing week one.
Yeah, I wonder when's the last time that's happened, that both of those schools lose on the opening week of the season. I'd have to do some. This is where we need John. John's not here. He would know immediately. And,
absolutely. John, he's speaking of John Bain from the Lorain Morning Journal. He is not here today. Hopefully he'll make an appearance a little bit later on. But if you want to reach out to Johnny, you can reach out to him at the Lorain Morning Journal. On Twitter is where you can usually catch John, at MJ_JBEHM. My Twitter is at DRamboni, DRAMBONI, and Andy, yours is?
Just, it'd be my name. That's at Andy Jardy. That's ANDYJARDY.
All right. If you want to reach out to the folks here at the Hooley House to check out what they have, whether it be the menu, the libations they have, the atmosphere from all 4 different locations, you can get on onefunpub.com, or you can reach out to them on Twitter at Hooley Pub. If you want to talk to the folks at Varsity Chalk Talk, you have a question, you have a trivia question, you have suggestions for the show, or just want to make a comment and reach out, you can reach out at Real Chalk Talk on Twitter. Billy Tilton will get back to you ASAP. Like I said, my name is David Ramnarine. We are here each and every Monday night here in Westlake talking high school football, usually West Side football, and Division II Southwestern Conference is the big one over here in Westlake. And boy, there was it started out kind of like what we thought, although there's a top team that is usually near the top of the league, and they fell the first week.
You're talking Midview, of course, I believe. Yeah,
I'm talking
Midview.
the Middies from Midview.
Yeah, they did not have a good week one there, and Midview struggled. And, of course, too, the team that we always seem to talk about every year, Berea Mid-Park. They're going to do it this year. They can't play defense. They gave up 50-some points again this week to Strongsville, and they came up on the short end. They're just a team that every time we talk about them, I'm scratching my head because we always expect them to break through, and then, just didn't happen again.
49-35, they lost to Strongsville. But Coach Elder said it last week from Avon, is that they would have a high-powered offense, and they put up 35 points.
Yeah, they're tough to stop. There's no question about that. They just can't seem to play any defense.
And they are playing a Division I team here, so
right.
We'll see how this shapes out. Tonight on the show, we've got a special treat for you. The Avon Eagles are back here in the house. They ended up 1-0 after week one. Eric Kiesel, the defensive back coach, is here, along with a couple of his cornerbacks, Robbie Conwell and Ryan Jones. They will be up on the stage here pretty soon after they ordered their food. They were kind enough to come on out here to the Hooley House to hit the stage.
Yeah, and we should probably get them up here before their food comes out.
Right,
that wouldn't be fair.
Let's do that then. Why don't we bring the Eagles of Avon up quick, fast, in a hurry. They took on, of course, the Akron Buchtel Griffins this week, and it was 19-2 after the first half.
Yep.
And we're going to find out what happened in the second half, because it ended up 19-11. And like Coach Elder said last week, if you think the Buchtel Griffins are a pushover, you got another thing coming. Those young men can play some football. They're very athletic, and they held their own against the Eagles of Avon. Coach Kiesel, appreciate you joining us here. Back for another season, 2018. Hard to believe, right?
Thank you guys for doing it again. I appreciate it being out at the Hooley House. Always great to come out here and see you guys. And yeah, it's right back at it, and I'm glad it's here.
Did you survive practice today? It is brutal outside.
It was warm, but there was a nice breeze going on. So I mean, I had it a lot easier. These guys are the ones doing all the running around, so
yeah,
it's easier on me.
Did it feel good to finally get week 1 done and over with? You finally got to play a game that mattered in the standings.
Yeah, get to an actual game, quitting hitting ourselves, definitely. I think every team in the state was probably excited to get week 1 here.
Now, it's interesting because you guys opened up on a Thursday, correct?
Yep.
The short week, does it benefit you now this week? You got an extra day of everything, and you have the short week in week 1, but your short week's the whole off season almost.
By the time, you get through 2 days, I think everybody should play on that Thursday because you're already through with everything. I mean, if you're not ready to go by Wednesday, you've been probably practicing the wrong way. So it was a short week, but if you schedule things right, you got your 5 days in, and now we got an extra day to practice for Homestead Falls this upcoming week.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if more teams start to play on Thursdays in week 1. We saw a couple more this year, but not a lot of teams. But last week you guys played Bookdale, tough game. Take us through it. What went right? What do you want to see improve?
And I heard you mention in the beginning their athletic group. They got some studs when they walked out of the locker room. I was like, those guys are bigger than anybody we have. And we got up on them, and our defense was able to tackle well. And we knew at the start we couldn't let especially my guys here, they couldn't let people run by them because in their scrimmages, their quarterback could throw the ball probably 50, 60 yards. He had a cannon. And they had some guys that could go get it, and we just wanted to limit their big plays. So throughout the game, for realistically most of it, we didn't give up any explosive plays. Quarterback scrambled a little more than we saw in scrimmages, which with quick whistles and scrimmages, you never really get to see quarterbacks scramble like that. So he made some gains on us, but we were able to limit it. And overall, the offense, especially in the first half, was able to move the ball and convert it. And we went in, I think you mentioned up 19-2 at halftime there. Slowed down in the second half. That was the negative. We would have liked to have been able to control the ball more, put another score in there. We had some unfortunate turnovers and never really able to put them away.
Was it just kind of dusting off the cobwebs there in week 1? You didn't maybe see the offensive output you wanted in the second half? Is that just kind of...
I think that, they practice too, so you got to give those guys some credit. Yeah, we'd say made some mistakes, but that year in and year out, I think if you look back... I saw, sir, you're on Joe Itel. You go back through the years. I think their worst season might have been 2 years ago, 4-6. They were 7-4, 7-4, 6-5 last year. That's a good team. And Coach Powers, I have a ton of respect for him. Those guys played their butt off. They did some things right. They did the same things we did. So got to give them some props.
Sure. Well, I'm sure as a defensive backs coach, you're happy to see your defense come up with 5 turnovers. What'd you see out of your defense?
These guys were flying around. I thought we were really worried, after Massillon whacked us, and we had a scrimmage there with Illyria, and I didn't really know what to expect from that we were worried about stopping the run, and they had a big back that we thought they could pound us with, so we were able to stop the run early, gave up about 160 yards on the ground, but 30, 40-some carries isn't too bad, including quarterback scrambles, and really limited the big plays. So from my guys on defense, really no big mistakes. Being assignment sound is always, I think, the biggest thing in high school football. If you can make teams drive the ball, you got a chance to win. And we didn't give up too many big plays in that game.
Well, I see now that the win puts you, and this is just a stat that we love in the media and everything, but you guys have won 27 straight regular season games. Does that mean anything to you?
I think it's we don't really think about it during the course of the game, and Coach Elder always asks, and he tells his seniors too, take a minute to enjoy the ride. I mean, it's really amazing when you think about a streak that long, and the conference, as good as this conference has been, there's been multiple teams from our conference in the playoffs over the last 3 years. So the fact that we've been able to put that winning streak together, I think, is a testament to Coach Elder and what he's been to the seniors every year that we've had that buy in, and starting January, last year, they're in the weight rooms. Some of these guys I know were in the day after we lost to Hoban in the state final game and trying to get after it.
We're talking to the Avon Eagles here on Varsity Chalk Talk, joined by defensive backs coach Eric Kiesel. And let's bring in the young men, Robbie Conwell and Ryan Jones. When Andy asked that question about 27 in a row, you shook your head. You're like, doesn't mean anything. Give me your thoughts on it.
Oh, we just kind of got to take every game like one at a time. So you can never really think about the past. You just have to think about every game you're playing.
You know, how hard is it for you guys to focus on the regular season? I know with Avon, and I know with Coach Elder, he's going to make you concentrate on the regular season. But at some point, folks, you know, kids are kids and coaches are coaches. You think about that end result. How do you stay focused?
Just by game planning every game and just focusing on every game one time. Then you'll eventually win all of them, and then you can focus on the end result at the end.
Yeah, we can't really take any game for granted, no matter what their team's record is. So if the team's 1-9, you still have to play them like they're 10-0. Because if you just play half-assed, then you're gonna lose no matter what. So,
this question is for all of you guys. With a conference like the Southwestern Conference, you really don't get a break. You don't have a chance to sit here and think about, wow, week 11, we may be playing. We'll get a home game for playoffs. That's what we're focusing on because, like you said, Coach, any week in this conference you can get tripped up. So you guys talk to that. You have to game plan each and every week. You come off of beating Bookville this week, but you go right into playing Olmsted Falls. This is one of the top teams. They're one of the top teams in the Southwestern Conference. They're 1-0. They came out with a nice win, 55-28 last week over Brecksville Broadview Heights. You guys are right back on your grind.
Yeah, so every time we play them, it's always a good game because it's two physical teams. But last year it was more of our side because we beat them by a lot, but it was still a tough game to play because of how physical they are. And that's how they always are. They're just coached that way because they have good coaches.
Now, Coach, with a Thursday night game this week, you had your Friday off, your Saturday off. When do you guys start game planning and getting ready for for Olmsted Falls? I'm sorry.
With that extra day, we were able to get our film Friday, start breaking them down, and actually, with the guys that we took some stuff from last year's playoff game and put that together. So we're starting to work on that Friday. Got really back at it Saturday because we considered that like a bonus day. So we had some stuff in Saturday while our JVs traveled out to Bookville. They got a win, 57 wins in a row, by the way. Shout out to the Avon JVs.
All right.
So we got that extra day in. But every week, come Friday night, once our film goes in and we break it down, we've really got to start to get ready on Saturday. You mentioned it about the conference. The thing that I think is different is that every week it's a different offense. Olmsted Falls runs a Navy triple option. Wow, that's horrible to prepare for. Then we got Lake coming up in week 3, and they're like us. And then we'll go to Midview, that's different. Amherst with Scagliosa is amazing back. So even though it's what helps is the different offenses that my guys see every week, you got to be dialed in.
What does playing a team like Bookville do for you in terms of preparing for the conference this week?
With a physical team like that and with the athletes, and we mentioned that these guys, that overall their group of skill is as good as any we're going to see. So just getting ready to face some of the skill we're going to see coming up over the next couple weeks, especially, and I've heard all the previews about Olmsted Falls back. Howard Johnson is an all-state player that they've got. Lake has got an offense that has been highly touted. So, it's a challenge, and I think those guys playing Bookville gets us ready for that.
You talked a little bit about Olmsted Falls, but what are you expecting to see out of them this week?
I think they would like this game to take about 30 minutes total and probably be, I would think, somewhere in the low teens. They want to control the ball from what I've seen, although quarterback this year and their receivers might be some of the best they've had in the last 5 years. Quarterback last week went 10 for 13 against Broadview Heights, probably 100 and some yards. Running game was on point. They're just so tough to stop. When you've got an option team that can run and throw, it puts a ton of stress on our up front 7 and the cover guys, because at some point Ryan and Robert are going to want to get involved and make tackles. They come around the end of the pitch, but if they're up too early, they're going to throw one overhead. So everybody's got to do their job.
That's right, and I was going to ask you guys, is it difficult playing a team that runs the option all the time to not, fall asleep or not pay attention out there?
Yeah, you kind of just have to stay on your job. if you do what we're supposed to do, we'll be fine. Like, if everyone does their 111th, there should be no problem to stop.
What he said.
It's a good answer. What are you guys expecting to see out of Olmsted Falls this week?
A lot of running, mostly. They'll probably take some shots down the field every now and then, try to catch us off guard, but they won't. So.
All right. How good did it feel to get back on the field last week?
It was exciting because it's been like long summer, long 2 days, and it's just good to finally play again.
Yeah, like all the work we put in the off season, it was so nice just to finally play. Like one of our coaches said, like we finally got paid, like it was payday.
All right.
So yeah, it was fun.
Any goals or expectations that you two have?
Just not to get beat deep or miss many tackles, just to play physical.
Hopefully get some interceptions if it gets thrown to us.
How nice is it to have start the season off with 2 home games? Last year, you guys started off, you were down in Florida, then you came back. It's got to be nice to be home.
It is nice. A lot less travel this summer, a lot less fundraising to do, as I'm sure the parents and the community were happy about. So it's nice to be at home. I mean, that was a great experience going down to the Disney Studios, ESPN. But home is home. It's good to be there.
And there's a price to pay, though. Like you said, you took on a tough Bookto team, and then now the next 3 opponents are 3-0 combined here with Olmsted Falls, Avon Lake, and then you travel to Avon Lake, your rival, which is back this year, and then North Olmsted, who's 1-0. So you've got a tough schedule, which we've talked about. I got to ask the young men, what type of corner are you? Are you that physical corner that likes to stick their nose in there, or you want to be a Deion Sanders where you're just a cover guy and, running backs coming up and you give them a little chicken wing?
You asked him this. This would be an interesting answer.
What kind of cornerback are you?
I'm kind of like both. I like to be kind of physical, but I also like to get interceptions and just cover people.
Okay.
Big man-to-man corner.
Me personally, I like going in coverage more. I think I'm better at zone more than I am man. So I like dropping into zone better and getting interceptions.
All right.
I'll hit if I have to.
Hit if he has to. So let me ask you this: who's the best cornerback of all time? Who's your favorite cornerback that you watch and you emulate and say, hey, you know what? I like that guy's style.
Right now, Jalen Ramsey.
All right.
High school or?
No. I'm talking about pro.
Best one ever.
The best one ever.
That's the question.
I'd say Jalen Ramsey too. Actually, he's really physical and he can cover people. And I think people are kind of scared of him because he's really intimidating. So that's good.
So that's your favorite now.
Yeah.
Who's the best of all time?
Yeah, probably Deion.
Say prime time?
Yeah.
There was a guy in Washington that was pretty darn good. Coach, who do you like? Let me ask you a question. Who do you like?
Defensive back-wise, the way that Deion Sanders shut down the field, even with respect to Darryl Green, I've never seen anyone change a game like Deion Sanders in his prime.
Nice.
One side of the field gone.
Prime time was the man. That's why the name of my fantasy football team is Prime Time. I played the cornerback position a little bit. I like to get a little physical. I like to get a little physical.
We'll bring you out. We play a little cover 2 for you. We'll get you out there. Come on out. Come out Wednesday. It's defensive day. We'll put you in.
Oh man, my hammies.
What do you got?
Hammies are a little tight right about now, Coach. Too many wings.
All right.
So with that being said, Olmsted Falls, they'll run, and then they'll take a shot. Easy to get bored out there, right? What do you guys do? How do you stay in the game?
We just have to try as hard as we can to stay in the game, no matter how boring it can get. Like if it's just running up the middle and we're just out on the other side of the field doing nothing, we just have to stay locked in no matter what.
Now, Coach, is that something that you guys have to prepare for, where you may get these guys in the box a little bit more, since there is a concentration on the run game?
These guys got to be careful with our calls and how we hopefully with our tempo in practice week, and it started today. We had 2 offenses going. They've got to know, and hopefully, I actually want them to make mistakes now, because if they mess it up now, knock on wood, they won't mess it up in the game. And I know today Ryan made a mistake on a coverage we had, and that's okay because it won't happen tomorrow. So that's how we learn.
That's the only way you learn. All right, we'll have a little bit of fun here with you two. Are you Browns fans by any chance? Favorite NFL team?
It's toss up between the Steelers and Bears.
Okay. What about?
My dad's from Pittsburgh.
Definitely the Brownies for me.
All right, there we go. Tyrod Taylor or Baker Mayfield, who should start?
I think Tyrod should right now because he's a veteran, and then Baker could learn from him, and he could grow.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's what we need. Do the Browns win a game this year?
Yeah, for sure. I think they'll go to the playoffs.
Ooh, we got a playoff pick. Okay, are they going to beat the Steelers in week 1?
Yeah, definitely.
Do you two have a bet on that at all?
No. we don't.
Gotcha.
Browns are going to go 6-10, I think, though.
6 and
6
10.
and
Okay. Biggest thing that you guys need to do this week to secure a victory?
Just stay locked in at practice. Can't be sluggish. We kind of were today, but to try not to be. So.
We definitely have to be assignment sound on defense, and I think our offense should put up more points than last week because we've been locked in. Like, after the second half of the Bookto game, I think we'll be better this week.
All right, Coach?
But yeah, hopefully they do their job. You know, we play tough physical football, and they do their best. Don't make mistakes. That's our recipe. You know, I mean, we've never been really flashy. There's not a ton of, you know, recruiters beating on our door. We're not sending 10, 12 kids to programs every year. So we just got to do our job, play together.
I've got a question about your offense. You guys get to see them each and every day. Tell us the strength of your quarterback. Tell us a little bit about your quarterback.
I would not, and I know we've talked over the last couple of years about somebody like Dustin Crum who can throw and can run. When you've got a dual threat quarterback, that changes my whole defensive back's job. I mean, everything becomes harder. So when you got somebody like Ryan who ran for 800 yards last year, and I'm pulling stats off my head there, and threw for 1,500 or whatever it was, and I'm sure you guys could find that somewhere, that puts such a stress on the defense when they can do two things. Just a running quarterback, just a throwing quarterback, you can tailor something. But now we got somebody that's a dual threat, and then Ryan is a dual threat. I mean, it makes things so much harder.
Well, gentlemen, we appreciate you guys coming on out each and every week. Of course, Avon's always here on Varsity Chalk Talk here at the Hooley House in Westlake. And we wish you nothing but luck. And we will see you back here next week, hopefully.
Yes, sir. We appreciate it, guys. Thanks a lot.
Coach Eric Kiesel, the defensive backs coach, along with Robbie Conwell and Ryan Jones, the senior cornerbacks for the Avon Eagles. 1-0 on the season. They take on Olmsted Falls. 1-0, going to be a big, big game out in Avon this week on Friday night. So get on out there and enjoy it. Thanks, guys. We appreciate you.
Thanks, sir.
All righty. Here on Varsity Chalk Talk, they've got the big-time fan club going on. Good luck, sir. Good luck. All right. We will, that's all right. We will see you guys next week here. The Eagles always represent. Man.
They do.
They always come up. Coach Elder said he'd have the folks out here, and sure enough, they did come out. And boy, when you get done with Olmsted Falls just likes to beat you up on that offensive line.
Physical.
They just want to pound you.
Yeah, and that option offense is never fun to prepare against, but you have the extra day with the short week last week. I'm sure that will benefit in some way. But you talk about a brutal start to your year. You play Bookdale, team that's tough, full of athletes, physical. Mm-hmm. Then you host Olmsted Falls. Then you get your rival, Avon Lake. I mean, that's not fun. I mean, it's fun, but that is not by any means Cupcake City or anything.
Right, and then you've got North Olmsted in week 4, and then your real rival, Midview,
right?
Which some folks say may be down a little bit, but that game, I don't care what their record is. You don't care what the records. You can throw the records out come week 5 with Midview because they're going to go at it. Those two teams do not like each other.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how the Southwestern Conference shapes up this year with Avon and Midview normally at the top, but Olmsted Falls is definitely going to make that push this year. Amherst could be a bit of a sleeper team as well. Berea Mid-Park, if they can figure out the defense, is going to be tough. It'll be interesting. Ridgeville, too. I think they could make some noise this year.
Absolutely. So good job. Shout out to the Eagles for showing up here on Varsity Chalk Talk. We always love talking to the Eagles. We're slated to have Elyria Catholic, and also you speak of North Ridgeville. They were set to come out here, so we're waiting on them. Elyria Catholic 1-0 on the season. The Panthers really put a hurting on Brookside, 56-0. Their next game will be against my alma mater, Del Angelo St. Joseph High School. They were 1-0. They took one on the chin last week, 54-19 against Cuyahoga Heights. And then North Ridgeville, like we talked about last week, had a down season last year. We're looking for them to come back this year, Andy. And They're, of course, in Division II, Region 6, that tough region.
Yep.
With Avon Lake and all the rest of the teams. They lost to North Worldton 42-25.
Yeah, they just couldn't stop the big play in that game. They gave up long touchdown plays that really, really hurt them. And if they can kind of just shore that up defensively, I think that might be something. That was something I was hoping to talk to them about. Was, do you take any comfort in the fact that your defense played well, except for a couple plays where they would give up a big touchdown, and you just wonder if you can take any comfort in that, or if that's still just not getting the job done.
Well, Coach Durbin and the Rangers will have their hands full again this week as they take on the 0-1 Midview Middies, and they want to get off that schneid right away.
Well, and that's a big game for both schools, too, because you don't want to start off 0-2 if you're going to have any hopes of making it to the postseason this year. And if Ridgeville to start off 0-2 would be tough, Midview especially, I can't remember the last time they would have started off a year 0-2, so that's something that I think it's going to be a big game for both those schools.
All right, you're listening to Varsity Chalk Talk here from the Hooley House in Westlake. We are here each and every Monday night. There's not a bad seat in the house, folks. You're looking for Monday Night Football. You're looking for the Indians, the Cavs later on this fall, in October, November, as they start up a new era of Cavalier basketball. This is the place to watch it from. Of course, not today and not this week. You don't want to get out here with the fire pit because it is
the fire pit is everywhere today outside. No matter where you go, the fire pit is there.
Absolutely. I go to work at 3 in the morning, and when I was in the car this morning at 2:50 in the morning, it was 78 degrees, and it was hot and sticky and muggy, man.
No good. No good.
But my point is, come fall in about a week, wait about a week or so, or 2 weeks, it'll be nippy again in the evening time. And they've got the fire pit outside. You've got the bar out there. You've got TVs. I don't care where you are in this place. There is something to watch, and there's a good angle to watch it from. So get on out here to the Hooley House. They've got plenty of local bands that come out on every Friday night, Saturday night. So Hooley House, 24940 Sperry Drive here in Westlake, Ohio. Shout out to Megan, our manager here, for taking care of us there each and every week. We love her.
Yes, thank you, Megan.
And all the guys at the Hooley House. If you want to reach out to us, make sure you hit us on Twitter at @DRamboni or at Andy Jardy. And John Boehm is not here tonight. He's with the Lorraine Morning Journal, and he is our resident expert at MJ_JBEHM for John Boehm. Let's go over a few box scores, and then we'll call it a night here.
Sure.
Andy,
I'm ready to place a food order. I don't know about you, but I'm getting hungry.
I'm hungry. I am hungry.
But yeah, we talked about Amherst this year. I think they're a team that could possibly make some noise in the
let's go
Southwestern
there.
Conference, and they open up with a 33-0 shutout of Clearview.
We talk about Mr. Scagliozzo, but if you look at the box scores, rushing yards 185, passing yards 184.
Yeah,
so pretty even offense.
I would say that's a happy medium.
Yeah,
Nice balance
absolutely.
right there.
Absolutely.
Avon Lake, another team we've talked about tonight, they pummeled Elyria 42-15, and they just continue to really get better.
They ruined the opening of Ely Stadium, the new Ely Stadium over there in Elyria. Beautiful stadium, 42-15. Avon Lake took it to them. And a shout out to Elyria for I was over there last week before they opened up the stadium, and they had a nice donation for my baseball academy that they gave me.
Nice.
Some of the field turf that they were throwing away, the remnants for there. So they donated some of that stuff, which is nice, and appreciate the folks over in Elyria.
What's interesting in that game, too, is oh, no, I'm looking at Elyria stats. Never mind, that doesn't make any sense. I was going to say Avon Lake only had 7 first downs, but that's Elyria.
How about your boys in Bay? I always like to keep track of Bay.
Right.
I wonder, when we do finally get Bay on the show, there's always one character or two characters from Bay that really shine for us.
Yeah, we had Nick Best over the years and Trey Pisoda, and I believe Trey is gone. I think he was a senior last year, so we'll see what character they bring us this year, but they're always fun to talk to. They take care of Keystone 27-6. Elyria Catholic, as we mentioned, pitching a shutout over Brookside 56-0.
What about your favorite team, the Rocky River Pirates?
My favorite, Rocky River, they had, you talk about a video game to start the year. They played a triple overtime game and came out on top over Fairview. Yeah, they're an interesting team.
Yeah, they surprise you. They definitely will surprise you. It's going to be interesting in Rocky River this year. It may be an up and down season. We'll see what happens. But all in all, I'm happy to be back over here. I'm happy to be talking high school football. each and every week here on the podcast. You can check us out on SoundCloud each and every week. Billy Tilton will put it up on a Tuesday morning, Tuesday afternoon, and check us out. Come on out for the live show. We'd love to have you guys out.
Absolutely. It's always more fun when there's just a good crowd here. You heard the crowd for Avon that they brought out tonight. That was great to see. It's always just fun to do this when there's a crowd.
And you talk about the food here at the Hooley House. What's on the menu tonight for you?
It's the same as always. I go with the Hooley Hunks. You cannot go wrong with those. I'll go Cajun dry rub sauce, and I'll probably get some French fries too.
There you go.
I think
no
that's,
hunks tonight?
No, that's
Hooley
it.
Hunks? Okay.
Yeah, the
okay,
Hooley
I was going to
Hunks.
say, I thought the moon and the stars were not lining up correctly.
Oh, no.
If you don't get what you
No, the full moon was last night. Everything is okay today.
All right. I've got to ask, last but not least, where are you this week? I know you're big-time broadcaster and studio host right now, so what's on tap for you this week?
It's the same as it was last week. I'll just go down to the station that I work for in Mansfield, WMFD, and I'll be at the studio and just monitoring all the scores as they come in and get ready for the show. I don't have to go anywhere.
I caught you on Facebook. You were out with a gentleman on the sideline.
Yes, Travis Berardi. Yeah, we stopped over. Ontario High School is right by our station, and they were hosting Lexington, which is a big rivalry game down there. And we just did a quick hit for the station down there, and then we went back and kept an eye on all the scores. It's funny too because I see we've got John sends us the box scores of everyone in the area, and he's got the Lutheran West New London game, which Lutheran West was able to win 47-13. But there's always teams on the fringe of our coverage area that make their way up into here, and that was one of them that I had to keep an eye on last week.
Did you hear that, folks? He said a quick hit. That's TV language. A little TV lingo.
Yeah, that was.
Big time in us over here.
Okay.
Quick hit. Nice.
Let's wrap this up. Let's get out of here.
Check out Andy Jardy. What is it, WFMD?
WMFD.
WMFD.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Check him out. He's on Facebook, at Andy Jardy on Twitter.
That's me.
He's all around the state of Ohio, folks.
That's true.
He is our expert here.
That's true.
So, for Mr. Billy Tilton, out in Menor right now, for Varsity Chalk Talk, for Andy Jardy, for John Boehm, and the folks here at the Hooley House here in Westlake. We appreciate you joining us here on the podcast. My name is David Ramnerine. We appreciate you. We'll see you back here next Tuesday if you're listening on SoundCloud. But come on out. Like I said, come on out on Monday nights. Grab something, some dinner. Watch a game or two. I'm sure the Indians will be on next week. And get ready to do your fantasy football draft here. This is a great place to do a fantasy football draft.
Sure.
I think someone was in the back room over here. They've got a private room where you can have a fantasy football draft. The internet. If you're wondering about the internet here at the Hooley House, very fast, very reliable. You got your draft here. You don't have to worry about anything.
That is true.
When is you? Are you coming up on some drafts?
Yeah, I think we just set the date for ours. I want to say it's not this Wednesday, next Wednesday.
I got a league. I don't know about you. I got to say this before we get off the air here.
This'll be
I
good.
got a league that I don't care what year it is. They always want to have the draft on a holiday, on a Monday.
Yeah.
It's like I'm full of ribs. I'm full of franks and beans and burgers and everything else. I'm not thinking about football. I'm making bad decisions
You
over
are.
here. I mean, I got bad potato salad floating around inside me.
I don't want to know. I do not want to know.
Why in the world do we do this every year? But anyway, if you're looking for a place to have a fantasy football draft, the Hooley House here in Westlake, 249-40 Sperry Drive. Get in touch with the folks here. They will take care of you, and you will have a great time. So shout out to the Avon Eagles. Thanks again for coming on out. We'll see them again next week, and hopefully we'll have a lot more teams out here next week to talk some high school football. Enjoy the games on Friday night. For Andy Jardy and John Boehm and Billy Tilton, my name is David Ramnerine. Have a good night, everyone.